Hey YouTube, what's going on? Snowflarky's Emos here today with another deck profile. Today I am bringing my favorite Aqua Actress deck profile. Aqua Actresses are one of my favorite decks of all time. Just this fun little simple deck of small fish that get really large attack stats when battling monsters. Debuted in Dragons of Legend 2 and been a huge fan of it ever since. So with that said, let's get into the cards. Starting off with our monsters, I am playing 3 copies of Aqua Actress Tetra. This is the main Aqua Actress card of the deck. It's a level 1 Aqua type monster with 300 attack and has this nice effect that once per turn you can add an Aquarium card from the deck to your hand. Aquarium cards are the continuous spells for the Aqua Actress archetype. And what's nice about this card is it is a soft once per turn, so any multiple Tetras you can have on the field can each be searching a card once per turn. And that just makes it pretty nice, especially because this build has lots of ways to get multiple Tetras out, and definitely one of the main cards we want to see. Next up for our Aqua Actresses, I am playing 3 copies of Aqua Actress Guppy. Guppy is pretty cool. It's a Aqua monster, 2 stars, 600 attack. Has the effect that once per turn you can special summon an Aqua Actress monster from your hand. Also, not a hard once per turn, so you can use a Guppy to special summon out a Guppy to special summon out another Guppy. And you can use that to either special summon out Tetra or our next Aqua Actress monster, which is just 1 copy of Aqua Actress Arowana. I wish I could justify running more copies, but this deck's getting a bit crowded, and Arowana is not that great of a card, mostly because it's a 6-star monster, so we can't just normal summon it. We basically need Guppy to get it out on the field, or have just like an extra card to get rid of for it, which isn't a bad idea. But it's 2,000 attack, 6 stars. Once per turn, you can add an Aqua Actress monster from your deck to your hand. So this is nice. Can search out Tetra, can search out Guppy, can search out whatever you're looking for. Now that's it for the Aqua Actress monsters. Those are actually the only 3 Aqua Actress monsters that exist. So we got to supplement it with some other good Aqua good stuff. First off, that is 3 copies of Swap Frog. Swap Frog, incredibly good card for this deck. When you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding a water monster, or and then of course when this card is normal or special summon, you can send an Aqua type monster from your deck to the grave. That is many targets in this deck, including our Aqua Actress Guppy or Tetra, or some of the other cards you'll see, and that's pretty nice because we have Surface that can bring them out of the graveyard. And of course, Swap Frog can bounce himself back to the hand so that you can normal summon another frog. Now we don't have any other frogs in this deck because his effect doesn't let you summon himself again. But it's just a nice way that if you want to keep your Swap Frog alive, you can put it back in your hand so that you can summon it and dump another card on another turn. Or if you special summoned it once, you can bounce it back and then use your actual normal summon on Swap Frog. So that's a really good card to get our Aquas in the graveyard, and being a level 2 Aqua synergizes with this deck pretty well. Next up, I'm playing 2 copies of Testudo Erat Newman. Testudo Erat Newman is basically this deck's main win con. It's an Aqua effect monster, level 1. Neither player can special summon monsters with 1800 or more attack. So that's very nice. That will lock opponents out of a lot of options for them to summon. And of course, just makes a good card to dump off of Swap Frog so we can surface it back, or use our Ties of the Brethren on any of our other level 1 targets so that we can bring it out of the deck. We want to get this guy on the field and just kind of sit him in defense mode so he'll be safe. And if we can do that, opponents are going to have a tough time. Next, I'm playing 1 copy of Oguchi. Fun little old card here, a 1-star Aqua with 300 attack. Its effect says this monster may attack your opponent's life points directly. But essentially, we're just playing this in as a 3rd level 1 Aqua target so that we can play Ties of the Brethren in this deck, because we need 3 different monsters that are Aqua level 1 waters in order to use Ties of the Brethren. And Oguchi fills that role. Also, I have found that the ability to attack directly is just kind of handy sometimes, because we don't have to worry about opponent's monsters or, attacking anything that might flip up and have an effect, anything like that. And Oguchi can just poke directly instead. Pretty sweet. And for the last monster, I'm playing 1 copy of Starboy. Starboy is a level 2 Aqua, so that synergizes pretty well with the deck, and just has the effect that when it's on the field, all water monsters gain 500 attack, and of course fire monsters will lose attack. I believe it's 400. and that is just pretty nice. Buffs all of the monsters in our deck, which is very nice. That's kind of the theme of the deck, is that Aqua Actress monsters buff their attacks from really small to really big, especially when they battle monsters, so that they can pretty much take out anything by battle. So Starboy is just a nice little boost that can help us boost our attack even more to push for an OTK. And that's it for the monsters. Next up, going into our spell cards, I'm playing 2 copies of Aquarium Stage. This is the first of the 3 Aquarium cards that exist for the archetype. These are the cards that Tetra can search, and they are all continuous spells that have different effects. This one says water monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle with non-water monsters, and then Aqua Actress monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. So that's pretty nice. That protection from battle means nothing's going to be running over Testudo or Rat Newman. And that Aqua Actress is being immune from monster effects is great. Monster effects are powerful and the main way of removing cards in the game, so very handy to have. And lastly, all the Aquarium cards have this secondary effect here, where if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Aqua type monster from your grave, which is pretty nice. That includes basically any monster in our deck, and just means that if these cards get wiped, we get a little bonus from it, which is pretty good to have. And yeah, we want to see this card, but we don't want to see too many of this card, so 2 copies is what I'm set at. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Aquarium Stage. Aquarium Set. Aquarium Set, of course, says all water monsters you control gain 300 attack, and then all Aqua Actress monsters you control gain 300 attack as well. So all our water monsters gain 300. The Aqua Actress is gaining an extra 300, means they'll be at total plus 600 from this card, which is a nice little attack boost, and of course has the second effect that if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, we can special summon an Aqua from our grave. Lastly, I am playing 2 copies of Aquarium Lighting. Aquarium Lighting is a great continuous spell that says if an Aqua Actress monster you control battles an opponent's monster, we are going to double its attack and defense during damage calculation. So that's pretty nice. That means all those attack stat buffs that we are putting on our monsters are going to go even further and make it so our monsters do quite a bit of damage to an opponent's monster. That's pretty nice. It's really easy to just buff them to insane stats where they can basically guaranteed get rid of any monster that they have to deal with. And of course you can only control 1 Aquarium Lighting, so you can't double the double by having multiple of these, but that's fine. We still want 2 just in case one gets removed. Next up, I am playing 3 copies of Ice Mirror. Ice Mirror is a pretty cool card in this deck that says target a level 3 or lower water monster you control and special summon 1 monster with the same name from your deck. But you cannot special summon from the extra deck while you control that face-up special summon monster. So that drawback is not a big deal. We're not really going into the extra deck much. In fact, we're trying to lock the people out of special summoning with Testudo or Rat Newman. But this is a great way to turn your Guppy or Tetra into just more copies of themselves to get out the deck. Really works great with Tetra because we can use Tetra to search, Ice Mirror out another Tetra, and then that Tetra can search, so that just gets us a lot of card advantage. Can be used with the Swap Frogs as well, just to get more Swap Frogs to send stuff to the graveyard. Just a pretty good card to have. Definitely something we want to see, and one of the ways we can build our board. Next up, I'm also playing 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. Ties of the Brethren, of course, is a very powerful spell card. It allows us to pay 2,000 life points to target a level 4 or lower monster we control, and for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, we can't special summon, but when we do this effect, we are going to special summon 2 monsters of the same type, level, and attribute, but with different names. So this is how we go Tetra into Oguchi, into Testudo or Rat Newman, or we can even do this with the level 2s, Swap Frogs into Guppy into Starboy. So whichever one we have, we can get a bunch of cards out and build our plays from there, which is pretty nice. Now, of course, we can't use our battle phase this turn, but that is not a big deal. It is worth getting all those monsters out, especially if we get the level 1 line where we can lock down with Tetra. Next, I'm running 2 copies of Wetlands. Wetlands is a very powerful field spell for this deck because it gives all level 2 or lower Aqua type monsters plus 1200 attack, which is pretty nice. That applies to every monster in our deck except Aqua Actress Arowana, and 1200 attack on top of other attack stats, on top of lighting, which can make our Aqua Actress monsters double their stats during battle, makes them incredibly big when they are battling monsters, and give us enough stats to take care of an opponent before they can draw the out. Next up, I'm playing 3 copies of Surface. Surface says we target a level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster in our graveyard and special summon it in face-up defense position. So this is what makes Swap Frog so nice. Swap Frog can dump whoever we want, and then we can use Surface to bring it back out of the grave, whether it's Tetra or Numenera Testudo, usually one of our main 2 that we want. And we just bring it back. No hard once per turn on that, so we can use it multiple times if there's multiple targets. Next, I'm playing a copy of 1 for 1. 1 for 1 sends a monster from our hand to the graveyard to special summon a level 1 monster from our deck. That's pretty nice. Probably the most important targets in our deck are the level 1s, either Tetra or Numenera Testudo. So just being able to tutor any of those out by discarding anyone else to the grave that we can later surface out of the grave is pretty awesome. Definitely a card we'd run more of if it wasn't limited. And last for the spells, I am playing 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance, of course, a great spell for this. We're not using our extra deck very much, so Pot of Extravagance allows us to banish 3 to 6 extra deck cards face down to draw a card for every 3 that we did. So we're just going to banish 6, draw 2, gets us an extra card. Can't use any more drawing effects this turn, which is fine. We're going to be searching for stuff, and because we're not going into the extra deck much, we definitely want that card advantage. So 3 Extrav it is. And that is it for the spells. Next up, looking at our trap cards, I am playing 3 copies of Summon Limit. This is kind of our emergency plan if we don't get an Aqua Actress board with Numenera Testudo to lock down, but we can get into Summon Limit that can stall long enough for us to set up. Summon Limit is a very powerful continuous traps card that just says neither player can special summon or summon at all more than twice per turn, which is pretty nice. A lot of decks will summon a lot, and if we stop them at 2 summons, their board is not going to be that powerful and is going to be very easy to deal with a strategy like this. So Summon Limit can just be a nice card to buy us some time. This card could also be Rivalry of the Warlords or Gozen Match. You know, if because those lock out type or attributes so that you can only control 1 type or 1 attribute depending on which of the 2 cards you're playing. But I find Summon Limit to just be generically safe because limiting to 2 summons is powerful, and that way it also does a lot of damage against decks that also work under Rivalry or Gozen, which, you know, this is a deck I play casually, so, you know, that's more likely that we're going to see some on-theme decks there. But Summon Limit, very powerful kind of emergency button if things don't go as planned. And then I'm also playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment pays half our life points to negate a summon or a spell or trap card activation, and that's just very nice for basically protecting our board. Once we got the setup, you know, we don't want to get Dark Hold. We don't want to lose our back row to, you know, a Harpy's Feather Duster or something like that. So Solemn Judgment is just a nice little emergency button that if I save this till we're going to lose something that is too precious to lose, we can flip Solemn Judgment and try to protect it. And that is it for the main deck. As far as the extra deck goes, that doesn't matter too much. I will say that I do play 3 copies of Mr. Boy, just because he's a nice little thing that I can make with some Swap Frogs or something that gives all my monsters another 500 attack, and then the ability to recycle a water monster from my graveyard and put it back in my hand when this card leaves the field, which is pretty nice. But other than that, just make sure you have 15 extra deck cards so that you have extravagance. You can play Totally Awesome, which, you know, kind of bites that card gets hit so much. But when it's at 3, you could definitely play 3 of that and go for a whole other strategy with the level 2s. That is pretty sweet. But yeah, just cram your extra deck with 15 cards. You're just going to use it for extravagance fodder. So that is it for my Aqua Actress deck profile. Again, a deck that I love quite a bit. I just really love these small fishes. It's really simple to play. It's really cool to just pick up, play a couple games with. It works pretty well. I enjoy it, and it's got some of those powerful anti-meta stun synergies that allow it to actually get wins, which, you know, is hard to do for decks that are not meta contenders. So appreciate you checking out the deck profile. Love to know if you've ever played Aqua Actresses and what you're doing with them. It's kind of cool that there's been a number of different ways I could play this deck over the years, so I'd love to talk about it more. All right, thank you for checking out the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.